December 20th, 1968. A young couple parks on a quiet lover's lane near Vallejo, California, excited to spend time together during the holiday season. They have no idea that in moments they'll become the first confirmed victims of one of America's most notorious serial killers, a man who would taunt police, terrorize an entire state, and vanish without ever being caught. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. David Faraday, 17, and Betty Lou Jensen, 16, were parked on Lake Herman Road when a car pulled up behind them. Moments later, both teenagers were shot. Betty Lou tried to run but was shot 5 times in the back. David died from a gunshot to the head. There were no witnesses, no clear motive. Just 2 young lives ended in brutal violence. 7 months later, July 4th, 1969, the killer struck again. Darlene Farron and Mike Mageau were parked at Blue Rock Springs Park when a car approached. A man walked up with a flashlight and opened fire, shooting them multiple times. Darlene died. Mike miraculously survived. But here's where it gets truly chilling. 40 minutes after the shooting, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call. A calm, matter-of-fact male voice said, "I want to report a double murder. If you go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." The killer had called to report his own crime while his victims were still dying. 3 weeks later, 3 San Francisco Bay Area newspapers received handwritten letters. Each began the same way. "Dear editor, I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman." The letters contained details only the killer could know. But that wasn't all. Each letter included 1/3 of a cryptogram, a coded message containing 408 symbols. The killer demanded they be printed on the front page, or he would go on a kill rampage. The newspapers complied. The cipher was cracked within a week by a local schoolteacher and his wife. It read in part, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." But the most disturbing part, the killer claimed that his victims would become his slaves in the afterlife. He was killing to build himself an army for paradise. He signed the letter with a symbol, a circle with a cross through it, the symbol of the Zodiac. September 27th, 1969. College students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa when a man approached wearing an executioner-style hood with his Zodiac symbol on the chest. He claimed to be an escaped convict who needed their car. Instead, he tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Brian survived. Cecilia died 2 days later. Before leaving, the killer calmly walked to their car and drew his symbol on the door, along with the dates of his confirmed attacks and a message, "By knife." 2 weeks later, October 11th, taxi driver Paul Stine was shot in the head in San Francisco. Witnesses saw a stocky man wiping down the cab before casually walking away. This time, the killer sent a piece of Stine's blood-soaked shirt to the San Francisco Chronicle to prove his identity. The Zodiac claimed responsibility for at least 5 murders, but in his letters, he boasted of killing 37 people. To this day, investigators don't know if he was telling the truth. Over the next several years, the Zodiac sent dozens of letters, codes, and cards to newspapers and police. Some have never been solved. He mocked investigators, threatened to blow up school buses, and sent cryptic clues about his identity. In one letter, he included a Halloween card with the message, "By fire, by gun, by knife, by rope." He drew his victims as ghosts hanging from a tree. The letter stopped in 1974. Whether the killer died, was imprisoned for another crime, or simply stopped has never been determined. Despite one of the largest manhunts in California history, despite thousands of suspects investigated, including Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester who wore a Zodiac brand watch and whose friend reported him, no one was ever charged. In 2020, a team of codebreakers finally solved one of his cryptograms, 51 years after it was sent. It read, I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Even from beyond the grave, the Zodiac continues to taunt us. The Zodiac Killer represents one of criminology's greatest mysteries. Was he someone investigators interviewed and released? Did he move away, die quietly? Or is he still out there, an elderly man harboring the darkest of secrets? In 2021, a group called the Casebreakers claimed to have identified the killer, but law enforcement has not confirmed these findings. DNA technology continues to advance, and hope remains that one day we'll finally know his true identity. But for now, the Zodiac's identity remains hidden behind that infamous symbol, a reminder that some monsters wear ordinary faces, living among us, invisible until they choose to reveal themselves, and sometimes they never do.